player, even though the Protoss player is still at 0-0. Not very often that you do see a Zerg player with better upgrades than a Protoss player. Protoss players do like to get those upgrades as soon as possible. And we do have 2 Infestors moving out across the map. Those Infestors will be pretty vital. Possibly be able to get down some excellent fungal growth on top of the sentries, softening those sentries up indeed. And we do have force fields. The Zerglings still not willing to commit. Do we have a Baneling Nest on the field? No, we do not. We do not have a Baneling Nest. We also do not have any roaches. We have nothing being produced. We've got some Zealots moving across the map, though. Are we looking for some early pressure? And here come the roaches, the Lings, sorry. And those force fields were not adequate enough. Every single Ling managed to get through. And the fungal growth as well on top of the sentries. And it looks like the Protoss army is getting absolutely ripped alive. We have a surround on all of the Protoss units here. Will they be able to back into a corner well enough? We do have some hallucinated units. That is helping out the Protoss numbers. So it looks like the rest of this Protoss army will be cleaned up at the cost of every single Ling there. There we go. Not many Lings survived, but of course the Protoss had no one. And there we go, taking a look at the units lost tab. We have 5,000 resources being lost, 3,400 for the Protoss. Of course, that does not account for any cancelled buildings, though I do not believe we've seen any cancelled buildings recently. We do have a third expansion coming up. I guess it's the second expansion, third base coming up from RTY over on the north side here. That will be very hard for the Zerg player to scout. Though with Zergling speed up, I would expect him to send some Lings over there. Some of the 18 that he has in production, as well as the extra 3 Infestors, and he already has 5 on the map. Those Infestors will be very useful. Sorry about the Skype pop-up in the bottom. I forgot to set myself to busy before casting this. Of course, I'm not even busy on StarCraft right now, so it's actually really good that no one has messaged me and that Battle.net is offline right now. It's a pain in the neck that Battle.net is offline, but it does make casting a little bit easier because you're not getting message pop-ups all the time. There we go, a huge number of sentries, of course, continuing to be warped in, and we are starting on 1-1 for the Protoss units here. Of course, he is very far behind the Zerglings 2-2, makes those Zerglings do a huge amount of damage, especially with a weapon speed of 0.7. And let's take a look at what's being produced. Of course, still going for Infestor. Infestor Ling is, of course, a very aggressive style. Does allow you to use recyclable units in the infested Marines. Can do a lot of damage there. And, of course, the Lings are able to surround the majority of Protoss gateway units. I would expect to see RTY try and transition into Colossus to deal with those Lings. The Colossus, of course, slice apart the Lings, no questions asked. And we do have 2 more bases coming up for the Zerg player here. He is double expanding, as well as trying to take this expansion down here, though he only has 1 drone mining at the moment. Phoenix did manage to scout both of these bases, I do believe. Let's switch over to RTY's view. No, he's only scouted one of them, so he knows this one's here. He does not know this expansion is there yet. Let's take a look at Boris. Does he know? No, he doesn't know that this expansion has been taken either. So we have hidden expansions coming down from both players. And it looks like Boris hasn't even managed to get an Overlord or a Ling into this base here. That is a bit problematic. Taking a look back at everyone, we do have adrenal glands being worse. Research for the Lings here. That will help them a lot, as well as Zerg Melee level 2. We're looking for a very, very upgrade heavy Zerg player here. Tons of Lings. Absolutely massive number of Lings. We do have a Dark Templar Shrine coming in for the Protoss player, though. Let's take a look at the number of Lings. 80 Lings on the field, supported by 12 Infestors. The 7 Templar are definitely a very good choice to combat this, though I think RTY will be regretting the choice of only 7 Zealots on the field. The drone count is not phenomenal, though the probe count is not phenomenal either. It looks like neither player is continuing to produce probes and drones constantly. Certainly not from either of these 2 Nexus, though of course RTY is almost mined out in the main. We'll be looking to take a 3rd expansion shortly. Taking a look at the production tab again, of course. We do have Zerg Ground Carapace level 3. Not often that you see Zerg Ground Carapace this early on in a game, as well as a ton of Zerglings, though we do have the Dark Templar coming down. Where are those Dark Templar? They are moving across the map. Look like they are going to try and move into each of these expansions. Possibly take out this expansion up here, as well as move into... Where's this Dark Templar going? He must suspect that the Zerg has an expansion over here behind the reeds. Yes, indeed, it seems he does. These Dark Templars will be able to do a lot of damage to the expansions, though we do have a lot of Lings moving out across the map. Lings are not a good counter to Dark Templars, just saying. And there we go, the first of the drone deaths. 2 drone deaths, 3, 4. Come on, 4. Oh, no, he's going for the Queen instead. We'll be able to do a lot of damage against the Queen, and he has killed that Queen up there. That is a huge setback to Boris up at that expansion. Won't be able to get those drones out nearly as quickly as he would like. And he does finally have an overseer on the field. Will be able to move up to these expansions, though it looks like he is possibly just going to sacrifice these expansions. The hatchery is down to 2/3 of its maximum health, while this one is at half. And what have we got here? 172 lings. Talk about mass ling. I want to take a look at this ling ball. There we go. That is enough lings to make my graphics card lag. I bet you did not expect to ever see that happen. 1080p lings here, people. Let's take a look at those lings. Oh, they move. It's like my carpet when I have an infestation. Oh, God, it's disgusting. I can't believe it. How many lings there? I don't think that number of lings is quite necessary. 6 full control groups of lings. I've never seen that many control groups of anything, let alone lings there. And we do have the infestors. Where are the infestors moving? The infestors are all just sitting back in the base, though. They do not have burrow. And it looks like both of these hatcheries have gone down to the Dark Templar. The Dark Templars are just chilling up in these expansions so that they can snipe those as soon as possible. He does have Zerglings out here, slowly eating away at those rocks. Man, that Zergling is a hero Zergling. He's been taking out those rocks for a very long time. His drone, of course, down here is still alive. Hasn't convinced the Protoss player to take an expansion down here. Does have a nice wall off in here, and tons of gateways going up. Chitinous plating going up. Not sure why. So we are looking for a transition into Ultras. Looks like I missed the Ultralisk Cavern going up, though. It doesn't look like we have any Ultras out on the map yet. Oh, we do indeed have 4. Let's take a look. Ultra Ling Infestors, certainly an interesting combination. We'll see how the Dark Templars do against this. It doesn't look like the Protoss player has much of a standing army, though of course those storms will be able to absolutely shred through that Zerglings. It doesn't matter how many Zerglings you have. And of course the High Templars do have Psionic Storm as well as feedback. It looks like the Zerg player is moving out across the map. Is he going to try and take out this north expansion here, or is he going to swing around? Looks like he will be swinging around down into the Protoss ball here. This is an absolutely huge move out, though it is scouted by the probe. The probe does get taken out in almost one hit. You can't even see what exactly hit him, but it looks like the Protoss player will be retreating behind his wall, and he does have a Dark Templar being warped in here. That Dark Templar does get scouted because there is an Overseer, and of course died incredibly quickly. And there's some storms. Not sure there's storms. There we go. There's a better place storm right on top of the Zerglings. Absolutely shredding through. The Zerglings are down to 2 control groups. Taking a look again, it looks like the Zergling count is being absolutely negated. Though of course we do have 4 Ultras still tearing their way through the Protoss units. The Zealots are being used to combat them, though, as well as Stalkers from afar. Surprised to see those infestors, and there we go. Hallucinated Archon. Those will probably scare away the Ultralisk for the time being. Trying to do some damage to Hallucinated Archon. Not sure why, given that the Overseer is here, and the Overseer does go down. Got yet more Zealots being warped in on the outside of the wall, and those will be able to hack through the remaining of the Ultralisk, putting the Protoss player in a very good position here. He does have a much larger army than the Zerg player has been able to macro back up. Let's take a look at the units lost tab. The Zerg player is about 1,000 resources behind and is tied for the number of bases. Let's take a look at mining bases. We have effectively 1 mining base from the... no mining bases from the Zerg player. What's this? He's not mining from his 1 mining base. And from the Protoss player instead, we do have 1, 2. So we have about 1.5 to 2 mining bases from the Protoss player. Certainly in a much better situation economically. Taking a look at the income tab, we have only 340 resources coming in for the Zerg player, compared to over 1,000 resources coming in for the Protoss player. We do have some more Ultralists moving out across the map, though. They will meet the scary Protoss ball. We do have a bit of a battle going on here, and the sentries are getting hacked to pieces by the Ultralists. Ultralists are way too big, though. We do have the Archon moving in. Perfect counter to the Ultralist. Able to absorb just about as much damage as the Ultralist can. And there we go, finally burning through. Got some nice target fire going down on the Ultralist here. And it looks like the Ultralist count will be cleaned up with quite a few Archons still remaining. And those Archons will be able to regen their shields. So this Archon is very close at 10%. And there we go, Boris realizes that he did misuse his advantage there, flinging the lings against this wall. Certainly a miscue by him. And Boris gives it up. GG.